Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man episode 6. So, what did I think about this week's episode? I thought this week's episode was pretty good. I actually would go as far as to say that I think this is the best episode of the season so far. But before I get into it, let's have a little quick recap of what happened in last week's episode. So in last week's episode, we got a little bit of backstory behind Aki, when you get to see how he came to hate the devils and all that. When you see the tragedy that happened with the gun devil involving him, you also got to see the resolution of Denji getting to finally touch some boobs from power, so that was fun. And also you got to see Makima pretty much telling Denji like, hey, your objective is to kill the gun devil. If you kill the gun devil, I'll grant you any wish. You also got to see Himeno and Kobeni and Arai and them taking care of the situation that's happening in the hotel, where there's a devil that possesses one of the pieces of the gun devil. So that's the objective, taking down that devil. And how the episode leaves off is they get inside, and out of nowhere, Arai he goes up the stairs, and it's kind of like a loop. They're trapped in like pretty much a loop, and they can't escape the 8th floor. So they're trying to figure out like what's happening. So that's where we left off. Now, in this week's episode, we pick up from that, and what happens is Aki pretty much realizes, like, yeah, we're kind of trapped here. Like, there's no way we can escape this. They start panicking because they don't know what's happening. They know that it's the devil's ability, but they don't know how it might have happened. Now, Denji starts theorizing that maybe it was Power's fault because she killed the devil in the previous episode, and he thinks that because she killed the devil's ability was in play, and now they're stuck there because the devil never turned it off. Now Aki then, follows that up by saying like, no, that's not how the devil's abilities works. That when a devil dies, their ability ceases to exist too. So that was a nice clarity, because it's a question that I know most anime onlys were probably wondering. But yeah, after that, pretty much everybody's panicking. They're all like, oh, we're gonna die. Also, you get to see that Denji, he's not dealing with any of this. Denji's like, you know what? If we're trapped here for eternity, I'm gonna take a nap. And then Arai's like, are you seriously gonna go to sleep right now? And he's like, well, yeah, there's nothing else we can do, so yeah, I might as well get as much rest as I can get. So Denji falls asleep, and they're pretty much like, wow, this dude actually fell asleep. And it's hilarious. Like, this represents Denji in a nutshell. He's just the wild card. He has a couple of screws loose, but I love it. It's hilarious. It's great. Then following that, Denji wakes up. Himeno's like, hey, how you wake up? It's like, oh, good. I slept good. And Denji's like, did we already finish the job? And it's like, no, we're still trapped. And then he's like, where's everybody? So Himeno pretty much just tells Denji like a follow-up. She's just like, yeah, so Arai, he's out of it. Like, this dude is losing it. Kobeni, she started panicking, and she was about to drink toilet water, so I knocked her out. And Aki's just hasn't gotten any rest. He's just been, trying to figure a way to get out. Now, Power, he's like, where's Power at? It's like, well, Power, you find out she's just chilling in a room. She's just kind of like reciting her Nobel Prize winning speech, because she's like, if we have all this time, I just will just practice this, because if I ever win a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, obviously that won't ever happen, spoilers, right? But I thought it was just funny. Like, the whole antics between the crew is just hilarious. Now, following that up, Himeno's like, oh, I'm in my last cigarette, that sucks. Now Denji, he's like, wow, you smoke too, just like that link guy? And she's like, well, who do you think made him smoke to begin with? And they're like, what? And then you get a little flashback of how Himeno and Aki really started to get to know each other. Because last week's episode, you also got to see a little glimpse of how they first got introduced to each other. But in this one, you follow that up, and it's great because you get to see a lot of Aki and Himeno. And it's great because I love Aki. He's my favorite character in the whole franchise. So I know the anime only, you get to see a lot of Aki in this episode, which is great because you get a little bit more in-depth into his character. But yeah, you pretty much get to see that Himeno's just like, listen, man, like, in this kind of job, we're gonna die. So, might as well just smoke. Because Aki's like, cigarettes kill you, so I won't smoke them. And Himeno's like, well, if you're gonna die, might as well, try to begin with. And he's like, all right. And he smokes it, why not? And she also emphasizes like, we're gonna be in a long relationship going forward, so you better get used to the cigarettes. And there's a lot of sexual tension between them too, mostly from Himeno's side, because she, you can tell that she has a thing for Aki. Now Aki, on the other hand, he actually walks into the fray, and he's like, do you have another cigarette? It's a nice little mirror where she was the one asking for a cigarette, now he's the one asking. And it's great. You get to see Aki walk into the room, and he's like, hey, do you have a cigarette? And she's like, this is my last one. And she kind of gives him a cigarette, and it's an indirect kiss, and Denji's freaking out like, whoa, that's an indirect kiss, and he's just kind of blushing, and Aki's like, shut up. But yeah, you could tell there's sexual tension like in the air. It's pretty obvious, mostly from Himeno's side, because Aki, he's not all there. He's not all there, man. He don't see the beauty and the queen that's in front of him in Himeno, because Himeno is a queen and she a baddie, and Aki's just, he's missing out, man. That's all I'm saying. Aki kind of missing out. So going forward from there, you get to see that Arai is freaking out because he's like, where did all the food go? And you find out that Power ate all the food. Following that up, you get to see that Himeno, and she's freaking out because she's like, okay, we're gonna starve to death. Like, where are we going with this? And Aki's like, don't worry, if it comes down to it, I'll use my sword. And Himeno's like, no, don't do that. Under no circumstances you'll use that sword. And then she's like, what is this sword you're talking about? Why don't you use it if you can defeat the devil? It's like, and then Himeno explains like, no, it takes a toll and it's not worth it, Aki. So you as the viewer, you're like, whoa, what is this sword? How does this sword come into play? So that's a question for you guys, anime only. So what do you guys think the sword's gonna do? But yeah, going forward, you'll eventually see what the sword does. Not in this episode, but going forward, you will see obviously what the sword does. Arai is like, where did all the food go? And you find out that Power ate all the food. And Arai is like, how dare you ate all the food? And she's like, no, I didn't. And, like, lying in front of him, and Arai is like, oh my god, this girl is just getting my nerves. And then Kobeni steps in. She's like, hey, so I know you're working with the fiend devil because you're actually a spy from the devil's side. And Arai's like, what are you talking about? And then Kobeni's like, no, I know you're a spy. And then she starts freaking out like, Kobeni's the wild card, bro. Kobeni is unhinged. This girl is insane, but that's why we love her, because she's hilarious. Anytime Kobeni freaks out, it's just hilarious, man. Like, she is such a meme, and I love her. Kobeni, amazing. And the voice actress that plays her, it's just, she nailed it in this episode, because she was freaking out, man. Kobeni was just on edge, and it's just hilarious to watch. Now, the next thing you know is the devil is actually talking to Aki, Himeno, and he gives them a deal. He's like, listen, if you guys give me the Denji, I'll let you guys go scotch-free. You guys can escape and all that, and I'll make a contract with you guys. Now, Denji's like, this is BS. What do you guys actually believe he's gonna, give you guys a deal? And then Himeno interrupts him. He's like, listen, he's actually telling the truth, because when it comes to contracts, that's something you don't play when it comes to between humans and devils. Because if either one of the parties breaks the contract, the party dies. Like, the person that broke the rule of, they are the ones that die. So they believe that the devil's actually telling the truth, because he is. If he's offering a contract, that means that yes, he's being 100% honest. Now, Aki's like, no, there's no way I would do that. Himeno's like, nah, neither. There's no way we're giving Denji away. So previously, they took down one small devil, but now, as of this episode, they realize like, whoa, this devil's increasing in size, and it's actually huge now. And now Himeno's like, whoa, we got to take care of this. So she uses her ghost power, and she quote unquote defeats it. But then you find out that it actually got bigger. So now they're like, whoa, this thing is enormous. So then they start running, because they realize like, well, this guy is huge. This devil is insanely huge now. And they're all panicking now. Kobeni and Arai and Power, they all come to the agreement of, okay, we gotta kill Denji, because if we kill Denji, he'll give us a contract, and that contract will let us all escape. And then Himeno and Aki, they cut in, and they're like, listen, that contract won't even involve you, Power, so you're kind of screwed. And then Power's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, I guess, I won't, I'm sorry for trying to kill you. Now, it's hilarious. It's just a fun scene. Now, Kobeni, in the other hand, she's like, no, we gotta kill you. Jump and get killed by that devil. And then she's like, Jesus, why you guys all want to kill me? And what happens is they all eventually start like freaking out, because they're like, okay, we're gonna either be trapped here forever, or we gotta sacrifice Denji for the devil. And pretty much they're all like, well, we really don't know Denji like that. So they're all, for the most part, they're all willing to kill Denji. For the exception of Aki. So what happens is they all jump in and they try to take down Denji. Now Aki, shields Denji, and what happens is Kobeni actually stabs Aki, and she's freaking out because she's like, oh my god, I didn't mean to do that. And Himeno's like, freaking out too, because she's starting thinking like, oh no, is Aki gonna die? And Denji, on the other hand, he's like surprised. He's like, whoa, like I was not expecting this guy, the guy that because Denji and Aki so far in the story, they have not gotten along well at all. So this was a huge shock for him. Like, whoa, this guy actually protected me. That's insane. So then Aki explains the reason he protected Denji was because he's going after the gun devil, and he knows that he'll need all the help he can get, and he knows that Denji is a very powerful freak of nature, because he doesn't even know what Denji is, so he'll need anybody that he can get to take down the gun devil. So then what happens is Denji tells Aki, like, listen, I don't want to owe you no favors, stop shielding me, protecting me, I don't need your help. And he tells Power, like, hey, take care of Aki, heal his wounds. So then Power's like, listen, I'm not that good dealing with other people's blood, but I'll try my best. So she starts trying to heal Aki and take care of the blood and all that. And Denji, the mad lad that he is, he's like, I'm done with all this. I don't want to hear from any of you guys. I'm gonna jump in and fight that devil. And then they're like, whoa, this guy's insane. Like, whoa, he just jumped into fight this devil alone. So Denji has this theory, and he starts realizing, like, hey, so this devil, throughout the fight that we've been encountering him, he keeps being hurt. However, he doesn't die. So Denji's like, how about if I keep damaging him to the point that he wants to die? And that's pretty much what the idea of Denji is. He jumps into the pit and he goes to fight the Eternity Devil, and he tells him, like, listen, I'm gonna keep slicing you until you give up, because like what's gonna happen is the Eternity Devil won't die, so Denji just has to keep damaging him. And Denji's down for it. Denji's the mad lad. He has a couple of screws loose, so he's down for it. So the episode ends with Denji actually going into the pit and turning the Chainsaw Man and just kind of slicing the Eternity Devil. And the Eternity Devil's like, okay, let's go down. And eventually, at one point, Denji's his chainsaws, they extract, like, and he's like, whoa, what's happening? And he's like, oh, it must be low in blood. And that's how the episode ends, with them fighting and that happening. But yeah, it was a very good episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I think the humor in this episode was phenomenal. I think this entire adaptation up to now has been killer, but I would really say that this episode in particular really knocked it out of the park, because everything in this episode was hilarious. This episode to me was pretty much what I love about Chainsaw Man, which is the humor, the action, and just the character interactions, because all of them are just so intriguing, and I love them all as a whole, which I think this adaptation has been nailing to a T. Like, I think this adaptation has just been killing it when it comes to all the elements that I personally love about Chainsaw Man. But with that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys think it was lame? Did you guys think it was awesome? I personally thought it was phenomenal. I just loved it, just like every single other episode. However, I think this is the best one of the season so far. But yeah, whatever you guys thought, let me know down below in the comment section. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking all the way to the end of the video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga content in the near future. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.